Hey everyone, welcome to my library. My name is Melissa, and today I am coming to you with a massive book haul. This is a very long-awaited book haul, I would say. Like, these books have been sitting here for a while for me to haul, so I'm glad I'm finally doing it. And I have three categories that I am going to cover. So I have romances, classics, and historical fiction slash sagas. Those are the three genres I just love so much. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started. The dogs and the baby are actually outside relaxing with my husband. So if you're just wondering where they are, that's where they are. So yeah, let's get started. So I'm going to start with the historical fictions and sagas first, then move on to my classics, and then finish with my romances. So let's do it. So the first one I got from the library book sale for $2. A lot of these I found at the library, actually, and I'm so stoked about a lot of them, like all of them, obviously, but I was really excited to find these there. So the first one is Longbourn by Joe Baker. So this has been on my TBR for a long time. It's a Pride and Prejudice retelling, if it's not obvious from the title. But what I know about this book is it is a basically Pride and Prejudice told from the perspective of the servants of Longbourn. So there's two of them. And what is the main servant's name? Sarah, I guess. Sarah, their orphaned housemaid. So yeah, that's all I know. I know this was actually highly recommended by Steve Donahue at one point. I know in one of his videos he mentioned it. Anyways, so yeah, so I picked it up. It's actually got a step back, which is kind of cool, of Longbourn. So that's kind of fun. I like that. So yeah, so here's the first book. The second book is heavily inspired by actually Sarah from The Bookish Knitter. She, on one of her videos, was talking about James Michener as someone who she wants to maybe revisit and read some of his books. And I know he's been recommended by others as well to me as one who writes really good historical big fat sagas. And so I saw this one at the library book sale as well and decided, why not? So this one is Texas by James A. Michener. I know he writes basically like a history of a place and kind of like Edward Rutherford, if I'm not mistaken. But obviously all of his books are ginormous. And I love anything Texas set. That's one of my like niche things that I just randomly love is like Texas set stuff. And it's one that I'm really in the mood for actually right now, currently, just reading like Western books. And so, yeah, so I saw this title and I saw this author and I thought, why not? If you guys have read James Michener, let me know what you have read by him and what you recommend as like a good starting spot, or if there is a starting spot for him, or if just any of his books are good. I'm just curious kind of, because I know he is very prolific, so yeah, so just let me know. But yeah, I have this one now. Okay, this one is one I've had on my TBR for a long time as well. And that is because, I mean, the title alone will be obvious why, but I also know that there was a buddy read happening with this book earlier this year or something, and I saw some good things being talked about with it, and I wasn't able to join the buddy read, but it made me want to read it even more. And that is Freedom by William Safire, another ginormous book. I'm not sure what's going on with this page, actually. Let me like see what's happening here. Yee. It's like, it's just bent weird, guys, if you're wondering. I mean, yeah, this book has seen better days, but it's still like completely readable. So it's fine. But yeah, so this book is a novel of Abraham Lincoln and the Civil War. And I mean, it's huge. This would be probably the biggest book I've ever read about the Civil War, maybe even the biggest book I've ever read. It's like 1,400 something pages. So yeah, this would be a huge commitment once I finally do read it. But I'm really glad to have this on my shelves because it is a book that has been on my TBR for a long time. I know it's a fictional account, so it's not nonfiction, which is good because I could not commit to this long of a book if it was nonfiction. But yeah, so it's like a fictionalized history of the Civil War. So, I mean, this says the best Civil War novel to appear in this decade. So yeah, I'm excited. You guys know I love Civil War stuff. So yeah, right up my alley. Okay, so the next book is a book I saw at Half Price Books and had to pick up because it will be a great accompaniment as I'm reading the Kent Family Chronicles books that I started. I started The Bastard and read that, as you guys know, about a month ago, and I want to keep reading the books. And this is the Kent Family Chronicles Encyclopedia. And yeah, so basically it's a summary of all of the books, so you can read before you pick up the next one that you're wanting to read. You can read a summary of the last one, and then also it gives us history of what is going on during that time that specific book is set. So I mean, there's like illustrations in here even, and I mean, it's just a very good aid to reading these books, which I think is really cool. Like here's for The Bastard, if you guys saw my last video, I talked about how he becomes a printer, and so this is, I'm sure, talking about that and like how that was going. And yeah, so like there's cool illustrations throughout it all, and I'm sure even before I read the next one, The Rebels, I'm going to read the summary of The Bastard again just to refresh myself before I get started, and I'm sure it'll be a huge help. So yeah, I saw this and I was like, oh yeah, this will be great. So I picked it up. I had no idea this was even a thing, but I'm glad it is because it will certainly help with such a long series. Okay. The next one is I'm just kind of picking these up as I find them if they're in good condition. It's another Poldark book, and that is The Four Swans by Winston Graham. So this is the next book in the series that I don't own. I need to read Warligan is my next read in the series. I think that's number 4? 1, 2, 3, yeah, 4. Yeah, so I need to read that one next. I'm very eager to. I've been loving this series so much. And yeah, I think this is number 6, I want to say. So, I mean, it was in perfect condition at Half Price Books, literally like nothing wrong with it at all. And so, yeah, I picked it up. Okay, so this book will also be obvious why I picked it up. And that is Rhett Butler's People by Donald McCaig. I love this cover so much. So obviously it's Rhett and Scarlet, like their backs. And it's a like floppy paperback, which I also love as well. So I know this is actually like written for, like commissioned, is that the right word? By Margaret Mitchell's estate. Like this is official too. I know Scarlet by Alexandra Ripley was also that way, so that makes me excited. And this is basically Rhett's story and Rhett's history, and I love Rhett so much. He's my favorite character in that book, my favorite hero in any book, even more than Mr. Darcy actually. And so I had to pick this book up. I hope they do him right in this, that they make his character how I know it to be. We'll see. But yeah, let me know if you guys have read this book. Basically, the two main Gone with the Wind spin-offs are this book and Scarlet. So I had to complete that and buy this book. So there's this one. Okay, the next one is, and this is the last one in my historical fiction / sagas, and this is a book I bought on Amazon. I've been meaning to buy it for a long time. It's on my TBR. It's a World War II historical fiction book, and that is Skeletons at the Feast by Chris Bogel. I don't know how to say that last name. I'm so sorry. I know he's famous. Like, he actually just came out with a recent book. I can't remember what it was called, like The Empress or something like that. But let me read the back of this book because you guys will understand why I really want to read this. And actually, this cover is like 10 out of 10. A masterful love story set against a backdrop of epic history and unforgettable courage. In the waning months of World War II, a small group of people begin the longest journey of their lives. At the center is 18-year-old Anna, the daughter of Prussian aristocrats, and her first love, a 20-year-old Scottish prisoner of war named Callum. With his boyish good looks and his dedication to her family, he has captured Anna's heart. But he is the enemy, and their love must remain a closely guarded secret. Only Manfred, a 26-year-old Wehrmacht corporal, knows the truth. And Manfred, who is not what he seems to be, is reluctantly taken with Anna, just as she finds herself drawn uncomfortably to him. As these unlikely allies work their way west, their flight will test both Anna's and Callum's love, as well as their friendship with Manfred, and will forever bind the young trio together. Yeah! So basically some sort of love triangle happening with this, a forbidden love story happening with this, World War II, very kind of fast-paced from what it sounds like, a lot of things happening, and I'm stoked. It sounds perfect. So I picked this up, and I'm excited. So there's that one. Okay, so now we are on to my classics section. I showed the 4 of these books in my Instagram stories yesterday when I picked them up at the library book sale, because they are like amazing. Like, I'm so excited that I bought these books for $3 each. They're going to be going straight up into Sam's nursery. They're all children's classics. And the coolest thing about these books, I'll show you. So they're called the Companion Library. Like, that's what the type of books they are. But basically, the coolest thing about them is they're 2 books in one. So this is The Adventures of Tom Sawyer and The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. And they're reversible. So you have Tom Sawyer and these amazing like vintage like covers with these illustrations here. And so if you want to read Tom Sawyer, you start here, you keep going. But then basically at halfway through the book, you have to reverse it, turn it over to read The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, and it starts over. So isn't that so cool? I love that concept. I just think it's awesome. And they're fully illustrated too, which is also amazing. So they have these really adorable end pages. And then they have like illustrations going throughout the book. So here's another one. Isn't that awesome? I'm just like, this is going to be so fun. I tried to pick up children's classics that I knew were kind of ones that boys would want to read. I mean, I couldn't resist Little Women, obviously. But there are some other ones that I was like, yeah, this is something like I think a little boy would want to read. And so obviously these ones for, obvious reasons. And then I've got Gulliver's Travels. And then the opposite side is Treasure Island. Muppets Treasure Island, one of my favorite movies growing up, like childhood classic. I love that one. So here's this one. And then, like I said, I picked up Little Women. And then the opposite is Little Men. I have both of these books already on my shelves, but I'm stoked to have this like edition of them. So adorable. So here's this one. And then the last one I picked up is The Call of the Wild. And then the opposite side is Black Beauty. Black Beauty was actually one of my husband's favorite books growing up. He loved horses. So that's fun. So yeah, those are the 4 like children's classics books that I got that I'm so excited about. I mean, and the covers, like the spines themselves are so pretty. Like, I'll hold them up because I just want to show them to you guys. They had others. They had a whole like set basically of all of these, but I just picked up these 4. So yeah, I'm so excited about them. Okay. Then the other 2 classics are classics I bought on Amazon. No, actually, this one I got with a Barnes & Noble gift card. And that is The Way We Live Now by Anthony Trollope. I honestly just bought this book because it was in such excellent condition, super floppy and huge. And the price actually was the same, either both on Amazon and at Barnes & Noble. And so I was like, okay, well, that's a good use of my gift card then if I can't find it cheaper anywhere else. So yeah, this is in the Modern Library Classics editions, like with the like kind of, what do you call that? Coppery spine. But yeah, so I own now 3 Anthony Trollope books. Have yet to read him, want to read him this year. That's one of my goals, kind of like a goal I never wrote down or anything, but it is a goal of mine to read Anthony Trollope this year. Whether I start with this one or Can You Forgive Her, which I hauled recently as well, or I also have the Warden. Those are the 3 that I own. So yeah, I have my pick. Let me know which one you guys think I should start with. So yeah, so there's that one. I know this one's a standalone, so that's kind of tempting for me, to just kind of get my feet wet with Anthony Trollope and see if I like him before I start a big series. So yeah, there's this one. And then I picked up another Thomas Hardy because I read The Return of the Native by Thomas Hardy this past month and absolutely loved it. Was reminded of why I love Thomas Hardy's writing. It is so beautiful. The nature writing was just impeccable, unbeatable. And so yeah, so I wanted to pick up another Thomas Hardy just to kind of grow my collection of his works. So I picked up The Woodlanders by him, and this is in just the normal Penguin Classics edition. But yeah, I saw was it Emily from Novell Novels recently read this and enjoy it, and so I want to read it as well. So yeah, here's this one. And that is the end of my classics editions of books, basically 4 big children's classics and then those 2 others. And now we move on to my romances. So there's a seller on Facebook Marketplace that I was given the information from the Bookish Bryants. They let me know that she sells books crazy cheap and usually are books that they think I would be interested in. And they were completely right. She sells just really old school romances and for like $1 or even like 50 cents. Crazy cheap. And she charges $3 standard shipping, and that's it. So it's, yeah, I checked that page a lot. Anyways, so I bought 3 books, and she actually included a 4th book that I don't think she knew she was, like, that I didn't ask for. I don't know what that's about, but I'll still show it anyways. So these are the 3 books I got. The first one is After the Night by Linda Howard, with this awesome random step back. I truly don't know, like, there's not even a woman in it. He's just contemplating in the sheets. But anyways, this is a book about 2 like star-crossed lovers. It's actually contemporary, I think, from what yeah, it is a contemporary. And it's set in the South. And I know the guy in this book is like from the wrong side of the tracks kind of thing. So yeah, I picked this up. I actually own another edition of this book already, but I wanted the one with the step back with the raised lettering. And so yeah, so I got this one. The next one I got, I had to get because it's called Annie Jordan. And this is the reason I got it, because of this blurb here. It says, over 1 million copies sold of this compelling novel about a woman of courage and beauty in turn of the century, Seattle. Yeah, so it's a historical romance, I guess, set in Seattle. And if you guys didn't know, I used to live in Seattle before I moved to Phoenix, and I miss it every single day. I love Seattle so much. I love the Pacific Northwest, the greenery. Oh, it's so beautiful. And so when I saw this book and I saw what it was about, I just had to. And then there's this one. This is another one that will be obvious why I picked it up once I read the back. But this is called In My Enemy's Arms by R.T. Stevens. A really cool cover. And let me read the back. So it says, "Never was a man given so beautiful an accomplice in escape from captivity. Never was a woman so foolhardy as to ask so much of what she loved on the word of an enemy. Never was such a passionate love so enveloped in duplicity and deception as in this rare and moving romantic adventure." And yeah, it's set in World War I. So it's set in 1918. And it's the story of two star-crossed lovers. So yeah, I had to. So yeah, there's this one. Okay, this is the one that she threw in. And it's A World Full of Strangers by Cynthia Freeman. And it's actually a family saga, so that's exciting. It's about four different people. It says, from the ghettos of New York to the glittering hills of San Francisco, this is the tempestuous novel of a family you'll never forget. So from what I understand, it's kind of like that immigrant story of four people in this family growing up in, I think, New York, or maybe San Fran, I guess. But it says, a love story you'll care enough about to cry over, a major novel of sin and retribution spanning 3 generations in America. So there we go. So there's that one. Okay, now we're on to our actual romances. This one I got for 50 cents at Half Price Books, and that's With Hope by Dorothy Garlock. And the cool thing I like about Dorothy Garlock is she writes books set in the 1930s. She wanted to write in a different time period than most historicals were, and so that's kind of the angle she took. I have another book of hers called The Edge of Town that is also set in that time. And yeah, so I wanted to pick this up. She's also very well loved. And this is set in Oklahoma, 1932. So there's this one. The next one I got for free from Thrift Books. They send out these emails if you're part of their rewards program to give you free books occasionally. And it has to be under $5, but they pay for everything. You just have to pay for shipping. So I literally paid $1.07 for this. And that's Surrender by Pamela Clare. So this has been on my list because I saw it on Bookstagram, super highly recommended. And it is basically picture Outlander, not Outlander, what am I saying? Scottish warriors that are forced to fight for the British crown in the colonies. So if you can't tell, even this cover, he's Scottish, but he's in America, and it's yeah, it's interesting. It's very niche, and I'm kind of all about it. And it's really well loved. This series is really well loved. The McKinnon's Rangers is what they're called. And it says, charged with a crime they didn't commit, the McKinnon brothers faced a death sentence until they agreed to serve the British crown in the colonies and take up arms against the French. Allied with the Indian tribes who lived beside them in the wilderness, the Scottish Highland warriors forged a new breed of soldier. So yeah, I'm excited. It sounds really good. Sounds very Outlander-esque to me, and I'm currently reading Outlander right now, the 6th book. So yeah, it just had to happen. So got that one. Okay, the next two I got at the library book sale for $2 for $1. So these were both 50 cents. And one of them I am so stoked that I found. This is the 4th book in the Calder series by Janet Daly. So as you guys know, I read the 1st book in this series this past month. Literally the best. I loved it. 5 out of 5 stars. Amazing. Perfect Western historical romance. And I want to keep going in the series because it just blew my socks off. And so I actually have the 2nd book coming in the mail. I think it's coming tomorrow, and I'm so excited. So as soon as I'm done with the book I'm currently reading physically, I'm going to pick that book up. But this is the 4th book, and it's in perfect condition. I love the cover. It's got like a red foil to it, which is really cool. And it's got yellow sprayed edges, and anyways, I'm all about it. It actually looks like it might be more contemporary though. I mean, for sure, because there's a Ford truck in the back. So it must move on quite swiftly from where it does in the first book. The first book is set in the late 1800s, so they must move on to like contemporaries at some point. So anyways, yeah, Calder born, Calder bred. And then the next one I had to pick up solely for the title, and then the step back also is amazing. And that's The Outlaws Sam. Yeah, so I'm sure there's more different names of men for this series, the Outlaws series by Connie Mason, but I had to pick it up. It just had to happen. And then this is the step back, which is just so pretty. I actually really like these daisies on the edge too. Yeah, so I had to pick this up. I mean, it was 2 for $1, and I picked this one up right away, and then I was kind of trying to find something else to pick up, and I saw this one and I was like, all right, meant to be. So yeah, so here's these two. Then here's the last book in this haul, you guys, 30 minutes later. Oh my gosh. This is a book I picked up on Amazon because of Amy at Zoe Beck's channel. And she talks about this author and this series so much and just sings its praises. And I'm kind of tempted to pick up another paranormal romance. And if I do, I think this is an urban fantasy. I want to pick this up. So it's Written in Red by Anne Bishop. From what I know about this series and this title is it's a super slow burn enemies to lovers romance, shifter romance, I think. Or maybe it's not even a shifter thing, but oh yeah, it is shifter. Shapeshifter Simon Wolfgard is reluctant to hire the stranger who inquires about the human liaison job. So yeah. Anyways, I know this is a very, very well-loved series. The Other series is what it's called. And sometimes I just get in the mood for a paranormal romance or an urban fantasy. And the other series I'm in the middle of that I need to continue with, and I'm so mad I haven't, is Ilona Andrews' Kate Daniels series. I'm on book 8 in that series and just literally haven't picked it up in like a year. But it's either pick that up or pick this up. One of the two. When the mood strikes, that's what will happen. But yeah, I love how thick this is too. Okay, you guys, that was my book haul. Wow. I know I told you guys in my last video, like I've been really into e-reading lately with my new Kindle, and so getting all of these physical books is kind of ironic that I'm doing that because I am reading so much e-reading, but I do have a physical book going at all times as well. So like it's the library keeps moving, don't worry. But yeah, please let me know down below if any of these books either struck your fancy or you've read and what you thought of them. I would love to hear. And I would just love to catch up on anything you guys are reading or anything. Just chat with me down below. And with all that being said, please like and comment and subscribe if you want to see more from me. And I will see you guys in another video. Bye.